Oil prices remain steady as investors closely monitor the fallout from recent Ukrainian drone strikes targeting key Russian energy facilities, attacks that could significantly disrupt Russia's crude oil and fuel exports. But here's where it gets controversial. These assaults not only impact supply, but also raise questions about the stability of global oil markets and geopolitical tensions. On Monday, Brent crude futures inched up by 3 cents, settling at $67.02 per barrel by 009 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude rose 8 cents to $62.77 per barrel. These modest gains come after both benchmarks climbed more than 1% last week, fueled by Ukraine's intensified offensive against Russian oil infrastructure. Among the targeted sites were Primorsk, Russia's largest oil export terminal, and the Kirishi refinery, one of the country's 2 biggest refining complexes. The attack on Primorsk is particularly significant because this port handles roughly 1 million barrels per day (BPD) of crude oil, making it a crucial hub for Russia's oil exports, especially in western Russia. J.P. Morgan analysts, led by Natasha Kaneva, noted that these attacks signal a growing determination to disrupt international oil markets, which could push prices higher. This perspective invites debate. Is this a strategic move to pressure Russia economically, or does it risk destabilizing global energy supplies? The Kirishi refinery, operated by Surgut Neftagaz, processes about 17.7 million metric tons annually, equivalent to approximately 355,000 BPD, or 6.4% of Russia's total crude processing capacity. Despite a recent drone strike on an oil company in Russia's Bashkortostan region, local authorities, including Regional Governor Radi Kabirov, have assured that production will continue uninterrupted. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions are escalating. U.S. President Donald Trump reiterated his readiness to impose stricter sanctions on Russia, criticizing Europe for continuing to purchase Russian oil and for not matching the severity of U.S. sanctions. Europe is buying oil from Russia. I don't want them to buy oil, Trump said, emphasizing that European sanctions need to be tougher to align with U.S. measures. This stance raises important questions. Should Europe take a harder line? Or are there economic and political reasons for their current approach? Investors are also keeping a close eye on ongoing U.S.-China trade negotiations in Madrid, which began Sunday. These talks are critical because Washington is pressing its allies to impose tariffs on Chinese imports linked to China's purchase of Russian oil. The outcome could have far-reaching implications for global trade and energy markets. Adding to the complexity, recent U.S. economic data showed weaker job growth alongside rising inflation, sparking concerns about the health of the world's largest economy and biggest oil consumer. These factors come ahead of the Federal Reserve's policy meeting scheduled for September 16 to 17, where a potential interest rate cut is anticipated. How the Fed's decisions will influence oil demand and prices remains a key question for market watchers. In summary, the oil market is navigating a turbulent mix of geopolitical conflict, economic uncertainty, and strategic maneuvering. The attacks on Russian energy infrastructure highlight vulnerabilities in global supply chains, while diplomatic and economic developments continue to shape investor sentiment. What do you think? Are these attacks a justified tactic in a broader geopolitical struggle? Or do they risk unintended consequences for global energy security? Share your thoughts below.